to get a solid number 2?
Yes.
You would give up
He
that
helps
much.
you.
Wow.
Do you know how hard it's been for the Knicks to get that guy?
It essentially came down to New York not wanting to part with Quentin Grimes with R.J. Barrett.
You guys wanted Donovan Mitchell to be part of your franchise. Now he's not there. And like the jilted lover that comes back and says, well, I didn't like her that much. Yes, you did. You were in love, and she walked away.
What's good with you on this Friday morning? Kick off your Labor Day weekend with Keyshawn Johnson. I'm Freddie Coleman or Keyshawn, Jable, and Max, presented by Progressive Insurance. Catch us on ESPN Radio as well as ESPN2. Brother Keyshawn, good Friday morning to you. What's going on?
Morning, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Always good to see you. Always good to be hanging out with you, especially on a holiday weekend. By the way, I know your USC Trojans getting ready to play against Rice tomorrow. I know you're going to be there watching that game, aren't you?
No, I'm not gonna watch. I'm not going. I'll find it. I'll find it somewhere on the tube, but I'm not getting ready to go sit in 120-degree heat to watch them play Rice. Last time I did that, we almost lost to Western Michigan. So on a opening day when it was about 115 degrees on the field. So I'm not gonna do that, Freddie. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
See what the Lincoln Riley era. How it gets off to such a fast start. I can't wait.
Okay.
You know, as they say, we're bringing in the savior for the program, and
now you talking about Lincoln, or you talking about Caleb Williams, the quarterback?
No, the coach. What I don't want to see is 17-13 going into the fourth quarter. That's what I don't want to see.
Can you imagine if that happens?
Yeah, based on all our transfers and things that they put together, we ought to run away with the game. So we'll see.
Oof. That's the last thing as a USC Trojan alum, not you. I'm talking about the other Trojan alums who want to see a 17-13 game versus food 120 degrees in USC's home opener when it comes to Lincoln Riley and the regime.
I don't know if Rice is any good. I haven't paid attention to Rice.
Yeah, right.
You know, last time I was looking at Rice, they were running a wishbone.
It wasn't that long ago.
No, I'm saying the last time I paid attention to Rice football, they were running the wishbone.
Were you looking at film? Like from the 40s or something like that? Was this
wishbone,
recent?
Option, whatever you want to call it. The option, the wishbone, RPOs, whatever you want to call it.
Okay, I think you just compare them to Army and Navy and Air Force football, what you're doing with Rice. That's what you did. You compared.
No, they were running that, though. For real, Freddie.
Okay. I'm not disputing. I'm just trying to figure out when Rice running the wishbone. If they run the wishbone, it might be great just to throw USC off. Either way, that's going to be part of college football weekend. But more importantly, this weekend, a lot of conversations about Donovan Mitchell not going to the New York Knicks. You can weigh and be a part of Keyshawn, Jable, and Max Nation on the Dr. Pepper call-in line, 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. By the way, ESPN Nation, presented by Dr. Pepper. It ain't college football season without the delicious taste of an ice-cold Dr. Pepper, the one fans deserve. The conversation, I'm not going to say the conversation bothered me about the Knicks not getting Donovan Mitchell, but we were talking about this before the show got started. Me, you, Pat Costello, Shannon Penn, Alan Yates. This is a lot of conversation for a guy that is a star, but not a superstar. But they're building up saying the Knicks really missed out on a superstar that could have helped this Knicks team finally get on the right track.
Well, I think it has to do with New York too, right? It's the Knicks.
Yep.
They looking for an identity, a star, so to speak. Here's a guy who's a 3-time All-Star. A lot of people look at him and would compare him to Dwayne Wade back in the day. And look, he's a hell of a player, no question about it. But I don't think that the Knicks missed out to a point of no return. They still got some young guns, some young players over there. Now, look, if you add Donovan Mitchell to the Knicks, but you got to subtract R.J. Barrett, right? You got to subtract Quentin Grimes potentially and picks to go along with that. So it's not productive. Like if I'm moving something to get something, that's something that I'm going to get better be big enough to take me to the next step. And I don't know that Donovan Mitchell would be big enough to take the Knicks to the next step, where you look at Cleveland, they're basically young, right? Mobley, now you got Donovan Mitchell, who's essentially young. Garland is young. And now if you're talking about 2024, there's something out there that they could sniff out and maybe they grab another piece as these guys continue to grow, then they put themselves in the upper echelon of the East. Right now, Freddie, they're pretty much the same seeding to me.
Okay.
I mean, they still that 6, 7, 8. They're not that 4, 3, 2, 1.
Right, they're not. But he makes them better. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think he makes them more of a threat in the Eastern Conference in terms of being a pain in the behind than people want to admit, because Donovan Mitchell has been that good. He has been that terrific. First 5 years in the NBA, averaging over 20 points per game. But no disrespect to him, we're not talking about that much of a difference maker that the Knicks missed out on him. This would have made sense that if people say the Knicks fumbled the bag, Keyshawn, if they didn't have Jalen Brunson. I know you can play small ball in the NBA. That's way too small, in my opinion, in the backcourt, that both of those guys together and give up an R.J. Barrett, a long play that you need on the wing in modern basketball in the NBA.
I wonder if they didn't do the you just mentioned his name,
Jalen Brunson.
Jalen Brunson. If they didn't do the Brunson deal, would they have acquired Donovan Mitchell if Brunson wasn't there? Would it have been a stronger push to get Donovan Mitchell? And now that they look at it, do they say to themselves, maybe we shouldn't have grabbed Brunson, maybe we should have waited it out or made a stronger push to go get Donovan Mitchell when the noise was – because the noise was screaming during the season. It wasn't
Absolutely.
like the noise happened just this summer. The noise was – people was talking about it during the season. This could be his last year in Utah, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things, and I'm glad you mentioned that here on Keyshawn, J. Will and Max, Keyshawn Johnson, Freddie Coleman, and ESPN Radio and ESPN2, because you can have buyer's remorse if you're a Knicks fan. And I'm not saying that the Knicks don't have buyer's remorse right now by saying maybe we went after the wrong guy, maybe we decided to go after the wrong guy, but they felt Jalen Brunson fit what they needed to do. And then all of a sudden, Utah wanted to just completely start over. The minute they moved on from Rudy Gobert and got all those picks in return, Danny Ainge has done this before the Boston Celtics, and you knew at a certain point he was going to move on from Donovan Mitchell. But it became less about Mitchell being moved to Cleveland than about the Knicks missing out. And Adrian Wojnarowski, ESPN NBA insider, he talked about how this all happened. Donovan Mitchell going to Cleveland and not going to the New York Knicks.
Utah wanted R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and 3 first-round picks from New York. That would have been 2 unprotected and perhaps a protected up to top 5 protected pick. But the Knicks did not want to put Grimes in a deal. They were willing to do Emmanuel Quickley. And with Emmanuel Quickley, Utah's ask was 3 unprotected picks. They valued Grimes more than Quickley. And essentially New York said, we'll do Quickley and RJ, but we want 2 unprotected picks and a protected third. We essentially want what you want for Grimes. We want to put Quickley in that deal. And that was the end. Utah's ask came down on Sunday night, I was told.
So he was told the asking price came down. The Knicks said, you know what? No dice, no sale. People are tired of the Knicks getting jilted by people and not making the right kind of moves. That's not to say they didn't make the right move, Key, by not going that hard at the Donovan Mitchell, because they felt for him that price was way too much. Minnesota can pay those prices with Rudy Gobert. The Knicks were not willing to do that for Donovan Mitchell, even though Mitchell's clearly a better player than Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, it's all about what you see in the organization, where you think your organization is headed. Are you ready to compete for a world championship today? Or are you looking at something even bigger tomorrow? And I think that a lot of times when players move, as star players move, people automatically think because they got that particular player, they're supposed to compete for championships right now. Mm-hmm. The Cleveland Cavaliers or the New York Knicks are not ready to compete for a championship right now.
Sure.
2 years from now, as people become available, maybe you can grab a big gun to go along with the rest of the players that you have,
right,
and then you can unleash that on the rest of the NBA. But neither one of these teams, no matter which side Donovan Mitchell would have gone to, they wasn't ready to compete for a championship now anyway.
John in Texas, we'll get to your calls about this at 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776 on did the New York Knicks fumble the bag by not landing Donovan Mitchell.